After local shootings like the borderline tragedy in Thousand Oaks and the Saugus High School shooting, several local Providence hospitals are launching a gun safety campaign. Joining me to talk about the campaign is Dr. Bernard Klein. You're the Chief Executive at Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So we were just talking about some of the stuff that you have here. Let's get into just sort of the big picture, and I want to get into what you have. What is this campaign?
So the campaign is about safely storing guns at home. What we know is most shootings that involve children happen because the child finds a loaded gun in the home or in their friend's home. In fact, more than 75% of second and third graders know where their parents keep their firearms, and over 36% admitted to handling the gun. But when you ask the parents, they said, "Oh no, not my child." So we need to do a better job of securing these weapons in the home to prevent an untoward tragedy.
That is a shocking number, 36% of little kids. That's really stunning. So what are parents doing? They're just storing them at the top of the closet, in the back of the whatever. They're not actually putting them in these secure locked boxes?
Correct. Unfortunately, many people store their guns loaded and in a place that's accessible to children. And so our recommendation is that it be stored in a lockbox, the ammunition be stored separately, and there is a gun lock on the gun to prevent these events from happening. And so we're trying to get the word out. So Providence, Southern California, we have committed to educating our patients across the whole Southern California area, from Orange County up to Apple Valley, and with our affiliated medical groups.
Because regardless of how political this becomes, you guys are the first line of defense. I mean, you see the immediate aftermath of all of this, so you just want to figure out ways to reduce these incidents. You also have what is a device that can slow down the bleeding after someone's shot, and you said some of the students at Saugus High School actually had this?
Right. So we're also participating, Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, which is a level 2 trauma center, also participates in a Stop the Bleed campaign, as well as other trauma centers across the LA County area. And the idea here is that when there's a shooting, if you survive and you have the training, you could go back in before the first responders are able to arrive and locate the bleed and do some interventions to stop the bleed and potentially save a life. And in fact, at Saugus High School, my understanding is there were kits available, there were people trained, and some of the students actually assisted other students who had been shot.
It gives me chills to think about the fact that this is such a reality for many students, because it wasn't that way when I was growing up, and the fact that they know what this looks like is really sad.
It's really, really unfortunate. You know, I have children, several of them have been on lockdown, which is something I never had to experience when I grew up. And in fact, the Saugus shooting, Providence Holy Cross, we took care of two 14-year-old young students and female students, and I have a 14-year-old daughter, and my feeling is I don't want to wait till I'm directly affected by this. I want us to get out there now. If everybody does something, we'll be a little safer than we were yesterday.
And so from your perspective, because you see this so up close and personal, what is something that people might be surprised to learn about gun safety issues?
Well, I think the first one is the fact that so many guns are left unsecured in a home. And in fact, more than 80% of guns used by youth in suicide attempts were kept in the home of a victim, a relative, or a friend. And that's just a tragedy. There's a simple way we could prevent that from happening.
Yeah.